announcement. Yes, thank you for your support and the friendship over the years. And thank you for believing in me and taking a chance. I really appreciate it. And Ron's kind of like my wrestling papa, that's what I call him sometimes. So to hear that I made you proud makes me very happy. Thank you. Well, I am humbled and honored to be the 2016 recipient of the Iron Mike Award. And I am tremendously proud to be the first female to be named to this prestigious award. When Ron called me, I thought he was ribbing me first. And then when he convinced me that I was in fact this year's recipient, he then told me some of the past winners. And it blew my mind. And I could rattle off some of the names here tonight for a cheap pop, but it's not really the place. Or is it the perfect place to do that? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Sergeant Slaughter. Bret Hart. Terry Funk, he's not behind me. Okay. Bobby the Brain Heenan. And Terry Taylor, to name a few. These men were my wrestling heroes. They are my wrestling heroes. I grew up watching them, respecting them, and eventually emulating them. So this evening, it's a little overwhelming and, to be honest, somewhat surreal to be joining that list tonight. I want to thank the Cauliflower Alley Club for being so forward-thinking in naming a female to this award. When I was a kid growing up wrestling, I never thought that I'd be standing up here as a woman, receiving one of the most respected awards in professional wrestling. I thought I'd give you guys it is a little bit more than a little background, but I'm going to try to keep it shorter. A little background on how this nice Greek girl from Toronto grew up to be a wrestler. Growing up, one of my favorite TV shows was Wonder Woman. Loved me some Linda Carter. Loved that she could kick ass while looking good. Even back then, I realized that was a hard balance to achieve. And the other show that I used to watch was wrestling. When the Rock and Wrestling Connection started and Wendy Richter and Cyndi Lauper started doing their thing, I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I grew up in a large Greek family, and so with my sister, there was 8 of us cousins, all about the same age, so we figured we had just about enough of us to start our own wrestling federation. And so we put on wrestling matches for our parents who would begrudgingly watch. And I look back now, and it's like so great as a little girl that I was able to watch a woman in the ring. And Wendy Richter showed me that as a female, she was as capable in the ring as the guys were. We lived in Toronto, so we were lucky enough to have Maple Leaf Gardens, or as a girl in Monsoon used to call it, the Mecca of pro wrestling. And this is obviously where the TV tapings used to take place back in the 80s. And there was this huge, me and Rick, where's Steamboat? He's gone. Well, he needs another shout out. We were chatting about earlier, but the big, large ramp that would come down, and the ramp would lead directly into the ring. And it's hard to describe unless you were there, but it was just this action. It was live, and it was in front of you, and it was just like, it was pure superhero shit, is what it was. And the wrestlers were real-life superheroes. So when my sister and I saw Wendy Richter getting in there and doing her thing, it was a really pivotal time for me because it really reshaped the notion of what was possible for a woman. She showed me, along with Cyndi Lauper, that yes, girls just want to have fun, but she also showed me that they want to win titles. So speaking of titles, there's a new title, and I'm going to come back to that title in a second, but right now I want to share a favorite quote of mine, and that's teach your daughter to worry less about glass slippers and more about shattering glass ceilings. Wow. Cue the Stone Cold, don't say that again. Cue the Stone Cold Steve Austin glass shatter because, ladies and gentlemen, the Women's Championship is back. Don't start that, Jen. As a WWE Women's Champion, a 7-time WWE Women's Champion, nothing makes me more happy than seeing this title. Of course, if someone wins it 7 times, we may need to revisit that statement. The new Women's Championship, it signals the demise of the Divas Championship. That was a little slow shot there. I mean, it's pretty well known that I never really was into the term diva. I just kind of felt like, hey, just call us what we are, women wrestlers, right? Yeah. I worked my whole career to earn the right to be called a woman wrestler. And it's funny because I remember in the beginning of my career early on, we'd be traveling as a group, and so all the wrestlers would be in the airports, and some fan would work up the courage to come up to us and go like, so you guys are wrestlers? And I just couldn't say yes. Even though I trained, I was part of a wrestling show, I even wrestled on said show, but I just felt like I hadn't earned the right to be called a wrestler. And, so as staying true to my heel persona, I'd say back to them, well, yes, I just kind of manage the men, and but if the wrong lady messes with me, I ain't afraid to kick her in the baby maker. And it wasn't until we had a viable women's division and we were regularly competing for the championship that I could say with confidence that, yeah, I am a women's wrestler. We need some bra burning up here tonight, huh, hey ladies? What a great time for women in wrestling. We had storylines, we had pay-per-view matches, we were getting more time allotted to our matches, which is huge. We saw a rise in the female demographic watching the program, and it didn't happen overnight. It kind of swooped in under the radar, like suddenly the girls were there. You know that, Mark. And I remember we kept getting pulled aside by our road agents on the road, people like Fit Finley, and Jack Lanza, and Jerry Briscoe. Did I see Jerry Briscoe here tonight? Where are you? Yeah, I saw him. And Arn Anderson. You have pulled us aside and real on the low. They'd be like, so women are getting the best reactions of the night. We're like, oh my god, wow, that's amazing. Or they'd tell us like they'd have to write these house show reports and report back like, their best reactions, and they would poll some of the fans, what was your favorite match, and they'd say, yeah, you guys were up there. They were polling your guys' match pretty much up there. And it was like, wow, okay. And then one day Vince McMahon pulls me aside, which is like really scary. Because you're never sure what he's gonna say, you don't know, what kind of day he's having. And so he says to me, I hear that the girls are stealing the show. So this is what I said. I don't know what came over me. It was sort of like maybe a combination of fear, or I just couldn't take a compliment, or nerves, I don't know, but I go, I made this smarmy face here, now wait. And this fake phone, I'm not sure what that is, but I go, yeah, hello, 911, I'd like to report a robbery. It looks like the women have stolen the show. What? Oh, guys. Vince didn't clap at all. He said nothing, and he just stared at me, and it was pretty weird. And then he let out a robust laugh, and he said, keep it up, kid. There was a funny story. A couple of years later, as I'd actually used that corny line in a promo, you guys know that. And when I came back to Gorilla, he gave me the Iggy, like, I remember that time he gave me that corny line. Good stuff. So, I am going to wrap it up here. Because I think we all want to go and go home, go to sleep. Or whatever it's called, gambling or something, yes. There are so many people that I want to thank, and unfortunately I do not have my scroll from the Hall of Fame. So, I will forever be thankful to these people who helped me be here tonight, really. From the agents, to the writers, to the golden era girls that I worked with. And then, of course, to some of the guys who just I feel like they were my big brothers. They really embraced me and took me under their wing, a lot of the guys. And, Matt Bloom, who was my first partner that I worked with, Matt Bloom, known as Albert, right? Bubba Dudley, Lance Storm, he helped me create the move Stratosphere, a little backstory on that one. And William Regal, he was an excellent chap at helping me in the ring, just excellent. That was my English accent for him. And I want to thank The Rock, because he was a really true friend in the business, which is wonderful to have. And he was my mentor, and he really shaped a lot of my career. So I wanted to thank him. And I want to thank you guys, fans of the business, fans of women wrestling, and fans of women's wrestling. So I just want to say thank you guys. And thank you for letting me become a real life superhero, for helping me unleash my inner Wonder Woman, and for helping me become a strong, kick-ass female that I hope one day my son Max will look back on and be very proud of. I want to thank JR. I am forever thankful for you for that special afternoon in 1999 when you saw something special in me. And thank you for your continued friendship, and Jan as well. Thank you guys. I want to thank recent Hall of Fame inductee Michael P.S. Hayes, because he was always championing for me. So I wanted to shout out to him. In fact, he was the very first person who encouraged me to send my press kit in the first place. I also want to thank Terry Taylor. He actually had my press kit in his hands when he jumped ship to WCW, and he actually threw that down on JR's desk, from what I understand, and said, well, if you don't call her, we will. So first of all, thank you again for calling. Just a little shout out to him. And to finish up, I want to thank my family. Thanks for coming out and being here for me this evening. This is like really huge for us. We still look back and go, can you believe you ended up in wrestling? Like we can't believe it. And so this is huge for us. You know, my sister and I, we had wrestling matches with our Barbie dolls. I don't know how many girls did that. And my boy cousins, the two Georges and Jason, they showed me that a girl can hang with the boys. And that became ingrained in me when my cousin George would repeatedly and frequently lose to me in matches. Clean. Yeah, that's George. Yeah, if you put those pants on, we're going tonight. I would not like to thank my husband, Ron, for fear of him getting booed out of the building. Oh wait, we're not in New York. Thanks, Ron. And lastly, I would like to dedicate this award to my dad, who we lost last year. I was his little tomboy. And he would, oh man, I totally know what's gonna happen. He would have been so proud to see me receive this award, to see me, his little girl, accepted into the boys club. Thank you.